Hello and welcome to Horse Racing from Singapore. I'm Mohit Lalwani on Horse Sense, and when we were with you 2 weeks ago, we brought you two of Singapore's most prestigious races, the KrisFlyer Sprint and the Singapore Airlines International Cup. Well, on that weekend, we had two other group races. We had the Aushorse Golden Horseshoe for future champions, of course, and well as the Singapore Guineas, we had a champion in the making out there. Let's take a look how those two worked out. Originally constituted as two separate races for the male and female genders in England, the Group 1 Guineas in Singapore. Traditionally for 3-year-old horses over a mile in most countries, the fillies contest is the 1000 guineas, whereas the colts is the 2000. This bifurcation was done on the 28th of April in 1814, 5 years after the inaugural running of the equivalent race for both colts and fillies for 2000 guineas. The two races were established by the English Jockey Club under the direction of Sir Charles Bunbury. They were named according to prize money on offer, 1000 guineas for the winning filly and 2000 for the winning colt. Unlike its counterparts the world over, Singapore has one race for both genders, and that's the Singapore Guineas, which was first run back in 1997 as the Singapore 3-year-old Challenge final leg and was won by Southern Wind.
The favourite Southerly Wind is asked for the big effort and goes after Wonder Planet, and Southerly Wind is hitting the front at the 400 metres. The horse has torn away from the field. Look at him come, that big one they were shouting about, and Southerly Wind has zoomed away from the field, and with 200 metres to go, he has taken a 6-length lead of the field. Sophisticated is coming in for the second place, but with 100 to go, it's all over bar the shouting. The horse, they said he'll make it. He's everything they say he is. Southerly Wind easing up, wins the third leg of the Triple Challenge by 4 legs.
The race was rechristened the Singapore Guineas in 2010 when Laurie Laxon's charge, Better Than Ever, walked away with the honours. Subsequently, Gingerbread Man from Bruce Marsh's stable won in 2011, Super Easy from Michael Friedman's yard in 2012, and in 2013 it was Step It Up with Santana on board.
Red Man is the leader. Addo up on the outside with the white cap. Clear for Action is across their heels. Nandara is beginning to run on. Zach Influence back and behind them with B ahead. Simply the Best is right down the outside. Addo goes up with Gingerbread Man. They've got a good battle between them. Clear for Action is running on, followed in behind them by Nandara. Gingerbread Man, he's got a massive heart. He lifts here. Trying to hold onto him is Addo, but Gingerbread Man races away from Addo. Clear for Action runs on, but he sweeps the 3-year-old series. Gingerbread Man wins and wide. Starter sends them. They're racing in the Singapore Guineas. Let's See Action began well, and so too Shuttle Man away nicely. Up on the outside, Jerem Glory, and bouncing out well, the favourite Super Easy. He just drops back on the fence. It's Totality over Super Guru up on the outside. They were followed by Let's See Action, El Milagro. Then came Shuttle Man looking for room. In behind them on the fence, Jerem Glory and Super Easy looking for room, trying to pick his way through. Cash Luck is down the outside, running on strongly. El Milagro goes up to tackle Totality. Shuttle Man, Cash Luck, Super Easy trying to get through. El Milagro went to the lead over Shuttle Man, kicking on strongly. He gets the run now, Super Easy. He bursts between them, going with him Cash Luck, but Super Easy massive in the Guineas. Super Easy wins it by a neck. Racing in the Singapore Guineas, and away quickly Warlord and also Zach Spirit. Driving up between horses there is Super Shadow, and Silver and Gold coming across with Bendician. Next of all, as they come to the bend, Super 97. He's going to have to need a lot of luck there as they come to the 600 metres. Next of all then is Alpha Centauri on the outside from Breaking Volts. Well back, approval given. And Golden Mission dropped out to last in the Guineas. Top of the straight they come. Zach Spirit still travels keenly over on the inside. Super Shadow up on the outer. Bendician begins to run on. Here's Step It Up out in the middle. Where's the favourite Super 97? He's back in behind them trying to plot a passage. But Step It Up went to the lead. He's got the first run on the mini race to the lead. It's Step It Up, the front runner. Super 97 begins to ping out in the middle. Step It Up trying to hold on. Super 97 coming with big giant strides for Step It Up. He's going to defy him and take out the Guineas in the clean sweep of the 3-year-old series.
The winner in 2014 was Warfare, who has become one of Singapore's best.
Rise and Shine trying to get under the back of War Affair as they straighten up. Below the final 450, Goodman is the leader. War Affair, Daniel come after him now, but War Affair went straight past Goodman at the 300 metres. War Affair gets out by 2 over Goodman. Daniela, Rise and Shine down the outside, 200 metres to go in the Guineas, and War Affair explodes away. He's got this one wrapped up. He dashes out by 5 lengths over Goodman. Down the outside, Daniel, but a big performance by War Affair. The champion 3-year-old does it easily.
The Group 1 Singapore Guineas, the third leg of the Singapore 3-year-old challenge, saw 14 horses come into the parade ring for the contest to be run over 1600 metres on the turf. This was the first of the 3 Group 1s on the weekend and in a sense was an opener to the international meet. With a competitive field this year, they were led by the Laurie Laxon trained A Fleck. And the field is led by number 1 A Fleck, trained by Laurie Laxon, ridden by Michael Rod and drawn 5. Number 2 is Jimmy Rea. Manuel Nunes, trained by Mark Walker, drawn 10. Number 3 Spanish Bay. The Mount Saifuddin, trained by Michael Friedman and drawn 3. A La Victory, number 4, drawn 14, Corey Brown, another for Michael Friedman. Number 5 Mr. Spielberg, Benny Woodworth, drawn 12, trained by Laurie Laxon. Number 6 is Zululand, another Michael Friedman runner. Craig Newitt picks up the ride, drawn 4. Number 7 Majestic Moments, drawn 13, Naresh Shuglal for Patrick Shaw. Number 8 Titanium, another Michael Friedman runner. John Paul in the saddle, drawn 7. Number 9 Elusive Emperor from Pat Shaw Yard, Baron Voster, drawn 6. Number 10 Chase, Shafiq picks up the ride for Mark Walker. Number 11 Bravo Charlie, KB Sue, drawn 8 for Michael Clemens. Number 12 Smart Lad, trained by Mohammad Yusuf, ridden by Esposito, drawn 9. Masurao, Takaoka teams up with Harry Kasim, drawn 2. And number 14 Believe Yourself, Alan Munro, also from Takaoka's yard, drawn 1. In the parade ring, the favourite and standout horse was A Fleck. He would, however, have to shrug off 2 second-place finishes, including a last-start effort to Spanish Bay. Spanish Bay, A Fleck, Majestic Moments and Zululand had faced off in the Group 2 Singapore 3-year-old Classic on the 17th of April over 1400 metres on the turf. On that occasion, it was Spanish Bay who had beaten A Fleck, with Majestic Moments in 3rd and Zululand in 6th. The 4 had raced at equal weights on that occasion and would continue carrying 57 kilos this time out as well. Spanish Bay had drawn 3 and would hope to continue his winning streak here. Standing in his way, however, would be A Fleck, who had also drawn favourably in number 5, and most believed that he would reverse the result on Spanish Bay and was sent off as the early favourite. While Zululand had possibly been disappointing last time out, his second to the older Group 1 winning mare Paranda was the form that could see him win this one here, and the China Horse Club Coolmore runner would be joined in the lineup by the other China Horse Club runner, A La Victory. A La Victory and Jimmy Rea had met the last time in the CECF Singapore Prestige Classic over 1400 metres on the turf on the 22nd of February, where A La Victory had run second with Jimmy Rea in 3rd. A La Victory was carrying 51.5 kilos then and had jumped from barrier 1. This time, however, having drawn 14 and with an additional 5.5 kilos on his back, would have to produce his very best with considerable improvement as well. Jimmy Rea was another that looked the part in the parade ring, and if there was one most likely to trouble A Fleck, this one was it. He was carrying another 3 kilos this time around though, and while that posed its own set of problems, the bigger one was his style of running. Generally, as one with a short burst, he almost always had to be saved, and the big question was how far back he would get and if he would be able to run A Fleck down in the straight. Mr. Spielberg, also trained by Laxon, was coming to the contest on the back of a win in the Rocketman Stakes Open Benchmark 67 over 2200 meters on the short course on the 26th of April. It, however, remained to be seen how he'd fare in better company over the shorter trip, even with half a kilo less on his back. Titanium was coming into this contest having run 5th in the Japan Racing Association Trophy, an open benchmark 83 over 1400 meters on the turf on the 5th of April. However, with an additional 5.5 kilos on his back, he would have his work cut out for him in this field. Elusive Emperor and Masurao had met in a graduation race over 1400 meters on the long course on the 3rd of May. Elusive Emperor had emerged victorious on that occasion, while the latter had run at the back of the field in 7th. Elusive Emperor had an additional kilo on his back, but was still likely to frank that result considering Masurao's additional 5 kilos of lead in his saddlebags. Chase was coming into this contest having run 4th in a Class 3 and with 5 kilos more in better company would have to also find much more. Brave Charlie, on the other hand, had won his last start in Class 4 over 1600 meters and with only half a kilo more on his back was one capable of running a big one. Believe Yourself, the only filly here, had run 5th in the Desta Singapore 3-year-old sprint over 1200 meters on the turf on the 3rd of April and would be looking at improving on that performance here. With that, the horses left the parade ring with Affleck as the favourite. We'll slip into a short break on Horse Sense and be right back. Pictures from the Turf Club on Horse Sense, where we're looking at the international race weekend. When we left for a break, the horses had left the parade ring and were going to the gates for the first Group 1 race, the Singapore Guineas over 1600 meters. By now, most are safely loaded and ready for the call.
1600 metres the journey. Gates are back. They're racing in the Singapore Guineas, and Spanish Bay came away like a rocket, went straight to the lead over Masurao. Believe Yourself. Affleck commenced nicely and moved up on the outside. Bravo Charlie being restrained back. Going forward is Majestic Moments. Elusive Emperor over towards the inside. Believe Yourself just drifting back a little from Titanium. Then A La Victory. Getting keen is Mr. Spielberg, followed by Chase. Smart Lad. It's between horses, then came a Zululand, and back to the tail went Jimmy Ray. So they marched down the back, and Spanish Bay shows the way, leads by a length over Affleck in second. Masurao down on the inside third, followed by Majestic Moments. Then came Believe Yourself in the orange over on the fence in fifth position from Bravo Charlie. Moving up between horses is Elusive Emperor, then came Titanium. A La Victory's on a wide trip between horses, Mr. Spielberg, then Zululand. Chase picking up a little bit of ground on the outside from Smart Bet, and Jimmy Ray's at the rear. Down towards the top of the straight they come, 600 metres to go, and Spanish Bay shows the way over Affleck as they come to the top of the straight. Then came Masurao. Next of all is Majestic Moments, Bravo Charlie, then Believe Yourself as they turn in, Mr. Spielberg, and A La Victory coming to the outside. Titanium over towards the fence, 300 metres to go, and Spanish Bay is joined by Affleck. Out in the middle in Majestic Moments running on, followed by Believe Yourself, but inside the 200, and Rod unleashes Big Ben. Affleck races away in the Guineas over Spanish Bay. They begin to charge home. Jimmy Ray comes from last, but Affleck is clear, and Affleck takes the Guineas. Affleck over Jimmy Ray and Spanish Bay. Close up is Believe Yourself, followed by Titanium getting through from Zululand.
Oh yes, nothing worrisome. Like when he had his first start and he was walking through the tunnel and there was a race on coming from Malaysia and it created a lot of noise. He just walked through there like a police horse. He was really composed. He's got good temperament. He knows what he's doing.
And you've obviously, worked towards this with a target and got him spot on for the day. He's reversed form on those that had him behind them last time.
Yeah, he trialled up good though. During the week, last week, he trialled very good, and there were some very good horses that finished behind him, and he broke a minute for the 1,000 metres on the poly, and that's usually only horses like Better Than Ever used to do that.
Now, obviously he's won the big one, at least for now. What are you thinking next?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose I'd look at races like the Raffles Cup or something like that later in the year, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't planned it out.
I think since day one he's been like this. I understand. Laurie said that he's absolute pro, and again tonight, he just cruises around to the barriers. He's the first one, breaks the gates. You can ride him on a long rein, doesn't matter where you put him, and he quickens and finds the line. Every start he's done that, so it's a testament to the horse and his quality, and obviously to Laurie Laxton and what the stable have done with the horse.
It just worked out perfectly, right? You had the horse you wanted to have right in front of you, you tracked him, and it just worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah, look, I had the plan of making sure it wasn't a sit and sprint tonight. I really had to make it a tough ran mile to sort of squeeze a few of the other horses that have question marks over him, and also to get the best out of my bloke, because he has to run it hard and he has to be at his top most of the way.
It was all a fleck, and a fleck, as order was restored at the top of the 3-year-old pecking order. Getting into an aggressive position from the start, a fleck used all of his power and muscle to stretch into a decisive lead up the straight. The son of Battle Paint, reversed form of Spanish Bay, who was a useful third, and the other impressive runner was Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray looks like a nice type when you see him walk in the parade ring. He's known for a late and short run and often needs to have his run timed to perfection. Nunez was possibly stuck between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea because he, while on one hand, had to switch Jimmy Ray off the pace. You can't really give a horse as good as a Fleck such a big break in the straight and expect to catch him. Super performance though from both the first two.
Now I'd like to invite Mr. Lim Joo Boon to present the prizes for the Singapore Guineas of 2015. The winner is Affleck. He's raced by Oscar Racing. Please make welcome the winning owner, CK Pua. Thoroughly deserved for CK. He pours the money, the time and the effort into racing here in Singapore, and a rich reward tonight in the shape and form of our premier race for the 3-year-olds, the Group 1 Singapore Guineas. The winning trainer, Laurie Laxon. Another trophy on the mantelpiece, another milestone for this marvel. 9-time champion trainer here in Singapore, and tonight he takes out the Guineas, as I think he did predict on a few occasions as well. Well done to Laurie Laxon. And the winning jockey is Michael Rodd. Big fan base, pretty big. Well done to Michael Rodd getting the win on Affleck, who has been, well, he's the best of the 3-year-olds. He is now. That's 7 wins from 10 through his career, the best of the 2-year-olds last season, and he takes out the Guineas as a 3-year-old, adding to his placings in the Sprint and also the Classic through the first 2 legs of the 3-year-old series. Well done to Michael Rodd, Laurie Laxon, Oscar Racing Stable, with the winner Affleck, who takes out the Singapore Guineas.
On that note, it's time to slip into a short break on Horse Sense, and we'll be back in an instant. You're watching Horse Sense, and when we were with you, we had just watched Affleck win the Singapore Guineas. It's now time for us to take a look at next year's Guineas contenders. It's the Aushorse Golden Horseshoe for juveniles. The Group 2 Aushorse Golden Horseshoe on the 15th of May saw 12 2-year-olds face the starter for the contest to be run over 1200 meters on the turf. First up in the ring was the Michael Friedman trained Super 1 ridden by Charles Neart. He was coming into this contest with a so far unbeaten record of 2 wins from his many starts, which included the IRT Juvenile Stakes Open on the 3rd of May. He enjoyed the maximum share of support from the markets and was expected to continue his winning form here. He was followed by the 3 Leslie Koo trained runners, Kubera Warrior, Genius and Le Mans, partnered by Alan Monroe, Baron Voster and Shafiq respectively. Kubera Warrior had run second to Super 1 in his previous start, the Make Your Own Magic Stakes over 1100 meters on the Polytrack on the 12th of April, and would be looking at going one better this time around. Le Mans was another who had run second to Super 1 in the IRT Juvenile Stakes Open over 1200 meters and provided Koo yet another shot at Super 1, who really looked to be the target here. His third runner, Genius, was coming into the fray on the back of a victory in the Inglis Melbourne Juvenile Stakes Open over 1200 meters on the turf on the 17th of April, but would still have to find a bit more to be able to match up to Super 1. The Shane Barshiger trained Big Man was up next with John Paul on board. Big Man was making only his second career start. He had run second on debut in the Inglis Melbourne Juvenile Stakes Open, but did have to find some on Genius. The ZL Mark trained Blue Moon came next with Oscar Chavez on his back, and was clearly very highly thought of, considering he was making a debut performance in a group race. It wasn't long before the runners left the parade ring and was set away cleanly by the starter.
And they're racing in the Aushorse Golden Horseshoe of 2015, and Super 1 has sprung out of the gates here and gets across and leads easily. Blue Man from out wide away well. Kaleritas showing speed with Big Man and also Cairo, but it's Super 1 who's a comfortable leader. Further back then to Kabira Warrior, who's back in about 6th. Then Genius just easing back on the fence from Chopin's Nocturne. Getting a long way back, Lee Man, Fine Choice, Dragon Royal and Captain Classique, but Super 1 leads the field down towards the final bend. It's
Cairo on the outside, and then came Blue Moon, who's third. Caleritas right behind them in the green, fourth as they break the field up. A few lengths away, Big Man, Kabira Warrior. Then Genius near the fence from a Chopin's Nocturne. Fine Choice and Lehman was further back, but Super One, he's been the star 2-year-old so far, and he comes around the turn at his biggest assignment so far, and he looks to be going easily. 300 metres to go. Super One a mile in front from Cairo, Caleritas. Then Kabira Warrior, Chopin's Nocturne and Genius. They're running on, but they're only chasing the shadow of Super One, who's got panels on them again. 100 metres to go, and it's Group 2 glory for him. It's Super One, and he's going to bolt in with the Old Source Golden Horseshoe. Great go for the Miners, but Super One wins easily. Great go second and third.
Good race like that with a short price favourite, but he was in a really good mood tonight before the race, and I was hoping that was a good sign, and he sort of behaved himself really well and won well. Well, look, you know, it's early doors obviously for him, but you know, he's got enormous ability and great speed. We'll see how he comes through tonight. We might even tinker with the idea of taking him to Melbourne in November for something down there. It's a bit of a dream of mine, and Andre and his co-owners have sort of said to me that, you know, if we thought it was worthwhile, but we'll see how he pulls up after tonight and have a think about it.
He's a 2-year-old that's just ready, you know. He does everything you ask him to, and probably the last 2-year-old that I rode that went this good won a Blue Diamond. He just always seems to improve on the track, and that was by far his best win to date. And yeah, look, Michael's thinking of bigger things, and I'm sure he'll definitely measure up. Yeah, look, I wrapped into Michael before he'd even gone to the races, and when he came out and won, I galloped him the next week, and he went better. And every time I get on him, he seems to go better and better. And I don't know whether Michael thinks I'm lying to him or not, but the proof's in the pudding on the track, and he's a horse that's by far superior to any 2-year-old here. He's the sort of horse I've been really waiting for something to sort of roll up and challenge him, because I know that in his work we always set him off something, and he's got a really good turn of foot on him, so he sort of gets left alone in front a fair bit. So I've shaken him up a couple of times, but I don't think I've really seen what's under the hood yet.
Super One proved to be too good, sprinting away to an easy victory. The winner is a son of I Am Invincible and has earned his connections over $250,000 with a promise of more to come. Well, and that's all we have on this episode of Horse Sense. Thank you as always for joining me. I'm Mohit Lalwani at the Singapore Turf Club, and well, what a super performance there from Afleck. We're sure to see much more of him in the future. We leave you with pictures of him winning the Singapore Guineas. Goodbye, thank you. As always, may the horse be with you.